What did you learn about each other through this experience?
Nothing at all. In fact, when I did a play last year, and when Sebastian came to see it, I felt like I was meeting him really for the first time.
The circumstances, the timing of the shoot and everything just didn't allow for anything outside of it. And I think in a way that was really beneficial.
Roy Cohn, nice to meet you.
The Roy Cohn from all the papers? Yeah, you're brutal.
Guilty as charged.
The feeling of sort of having our feet to the fire was definitely part of this, which just made us, I think, work harder and take the responsibility.
You can't go into this without, at least in my case, thinking that everyone and their cousin and their dentist and their neighbor is going to have an opinion about this particular person. But at some point, you just have to not really care about that.
It didn't enter into my mind all that much, except that I knew that we would be sort of touching the third rail in making this movie. But in a way, that's a goal. The goal is to make work that touches the third rail.
What felt at stake here was important enough, and the chance to work with Jeremy and Ollie exceeded that. And so that was, that overpowered everything else for me, I think.
Gabe Sherman, who wrote it, is a very well-regarded journalist, and he researched this exhaustively and meticulously, so the level of journalistic and historical veracity is really there. And then Ali brings a kind of punk rock, David Lynch ride to it.
How do you always win?
There's rules. The first rule is attack, attack, attack.
Rule 2, admit nothing, deny everything.
Rule 3, no matter what happens, you claim victory and never admit defeat.
Obviously, we were trying to find the right balance of prosthetics. I think we were both kind of wanting less is more approach on this. The essence was more important than the likeness.
These are such familiar people, you know. It has to go beyond just something mimetic. You can't just be doing an imitation. You know, this film is taking these two individuals seriously, but it's a painting, not a photograph.
One of my favorite things was what you said, actually, at the very beginning, which was, I'm playing a guy named Roy and you're playing a guy named Donald. It's a relationship. It's Faustian and Shakespearean in ways. In some ways, it's sort of a love story. There's a mentorship to it.
This is not a political movie. It's a movie about the relationship between these two outsiders who became the ultimate insiders, using Roy Cohn's playbook of always attack, deny everything, and never admit defeat. He's one of the most influential figures in the 20th century, it turns out. His sort of long shadow being cast to where we are today and the darkness today.
I record everything in case I need it.
Well, that's illegal.
You have to be willing to do anything to anyone to win.
It was very exciting to have to just kind of be in the ring with each other and know that whatever we were going to throw at each other, the other would punch back above their weight.
You gotta work on that.
Your face looked like an orange.
Maria was lovely. I mean, very committed, very open, I think, to sort of the way we were shooting. And obviously, she's from that part of the world, Eastern Europe. And I think there's a lot of authenticity and familiarity that she had with Ivana that sort of maybe somebody else wouldn't have.
And Roy Cohn was someone who believed that law was an adversarial profession. He was a pretty aggressive person. And he also believed in what he called owning the surprise, as I do as an actor. So I would pounce on her in scenes, and she was fantastic to work with.
Honestly, for me, the joy of going to set is just not knowing what was going to happen, even take to take. I feel like every day was pretty difficult. Locations and timing and the nature of how we were shooting, which was very off-kilter. But then you had all these beautiful moments come out of it that we didn't anticipate.
Yeah, I was talking to Ali on the phone yesterday, and he reminded me that our very first day of filming was in a helicopter. You have to commit to what you're doing, and until you cross that Rubicon, there's a certain measure of dread and uncertainty and the feeling of, is this going to work? That compounded with the fact that we were like up in the air precariously in a helicopter being buffeted around by the wind was a fitting first day.
Neither of us are really great flyers, but as Donald and Roy, there was no nerves.
Those first initial takes of just committing to what we were doing, accepting each other, and improvising the hell out of everything was an exhilarating way to start this roller coaster ride.
Spectacular hotel, absolutely spectacular. And
That sounds very ambitious. Where do you get the drive? Still so young, Donald.
I got flair and I'm smart, so I think that's going to make me successful. But I also want to stay humble.
I think we're both actors who look for chances to take risks, chances to do something transformational and embrace walking the plank. This is a big plank to walk. I think we relished it and took it very seriously.
I think we have to nurture empathy, and that's at stake now more than ever, it feels like. And the only way to do that is sometimes to confront it with its opposite. And we have to be aware of the things in the dark as much as we are of the things in the light.
It's a movie about the making of Donald Trump, which is, in my feeling, sort of imperative and mandatory viewing for anyone in this country affected by his leadership, which is everyone. This relationship with Roy Cohn and what Roy taught him, it's a story that people really don't know. It's a movie about the birth of his worldview, his moral, philosophical, and ethical framework.
I think we're spending a lot of time reading a lot of things on the internet and looking to be told how to feel, how to think. I hope that hopefully this movie leads people towards a reconnection with their own humanity in a way and getting some level of understanding out of it.
If you are pro-Trump, if you're anti-Trump, it's not telling you how to vote. As Ali said, if you liked Barbie, this movie is for you. If you didn't like Barbie, this movie is for you.